So today we're going to continue with terminating and repeating decimals, but the learning target today is I know how to write decimals as fractions instead of fractions as decimals. So let's first, before we begin, let's just go over some place values. We know that the first number before, so over here, the decimal, that's the ones place. We have tens and hundreds. And then after the decimal, we call this tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. And I don't know how to, so funky is spelling. But I always wondered when I was first learning this, okay, we go ones, tens, hundredths, why isn't it one-th, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and so on? The reason being is what we're going to talk about a little bit later, so we'll figure that out. But this is what each place value is called. This is tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. So the key concept here is to write a decimal as a fraction. You use this simple rule. Write the numbers after the decimal as a whole number in the numerator of your fraction. Okay, so for example, if we have 0.125 as our decimal, so 0.125, we're going to write these numbers after the decimal as a whole number in our fraction. Okay, so that'd be 125. Okay, for the denominator, put a 1, and then count how many numbers are after the decimal point and put that many zeros. So 1, 2, 3, we have 1, 2, 3 thousandths. So what we see here is this is 125 over 1,000, and this is exactly why we call this place right here the thousandths place. Okay, if this was just 0.12, it would be over 100, the hundredth place. If it was just 0.1, it would be 1/10, or just with a tenth place. So that's why it's called the tenths place. Okay, so this is exactly what I need you guys to do. When you're changing a decimal to a fraction, you're going to use this method right here, this key concept up here. So let's do example 1 now. It says Jorge read that 0.72 of his, or 72 hundredths of his favorite cereal was whole grain wheat. Find what fraction of his cereal is whole grain wheat. Write in simplest form. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna write the numbers as after the decimal as a whole number. So 72. And for the denominator, we're gonna put a 1. There's 1, 2 numbers after the decimal, so we're gonna have 72 hundredths. Okay. Now we wrote this decimal as a fraction, but we have to write it in simplest form. That's what the question asks us to do. So we have to reduce this, and I think it's always easiest to reduce by 2's if you don't know exactly what number goes into 72 and 100. 2 goes into 72 36 times, and I knew that because I knew 35 times 2 is 70, so I knew it just had to be one more than that. And 2 times 50 is 100. Looks like we can reduce it one more time. 2 goes into 36 18 times, and 2 goes into 50 25 times. Okay. And I'm pretty sure there's nothing else that can go into that fraction there. So this is our reduced fraction, and that's all you have to do in order to solve, to write this decimal right here as a fraction. So let's do example 2 now. Example 2 says, using the table at the right, this table over here, find the fraction of the fish in the aquarium that are angelfish. Write in simplest form. Okay, so we have all these fish over here and the amount in decimal form of how many fish are in the aquarium. Okay, we could write all of these as percentages, like this would be 25% or 40% or 15%, 20%. But we don't need to do that. All we need to do is we need to take this decimal form right here, 0.4, and change that to be a fraction. So we're going to have 0.4, and we're going to write in the numerator the number after the decimal as a whole number, so 4. And in the denominator, we're going to put a 1. There's one number over here, so just 10, because this is in the tenths place, so 4 tenths. And that's how it is as a fraction, but we can do one extra step here, is we can reduce it. 2 goes into both of these, 2 goes into 4 twice, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. And we end up getting our answer to be 2/5. And that is it.